I didn't come here to tell you how this is going to end. I came here to tell you how it's going to begin. I'm going to hang up this phone, and then I'm going to show these people what you don't want them to see. I'm going to show them a world without you. A world without rules and controls, without borders or boundaries. A world where anything is possible.
Hey guys, James here from HACK-ATHON, and from today onwards I'm gonna go and start a tutorial series on Windows PowerShell, starting from the very basic, like very scratch level 0, and I would be advancing to the more intricate stuff like the advanced scripting automation, where you can go ahead and write your own scripts to go ahead and automate your day-to-day work. But before we go and start that, we'll have to understand a few basic differences and how PowerShell works. PowerShell is a different entity altogether, so as to say. It's nothing like the command prompt. PowerShell creates .NET objects. Everything in PowerShell is object oriented, and it is an object. For example, if I go ahead and do a $a=1, that's an object. It's not a value that's just stored in a random memory location. It's an object. And how do I know that? Well, there is a commandlet called get-member, or the alias is GM, where you can go ahead and see what are the commands, or rather the members that are members or methods that are incorporated in this particular object. So I have gone ahead and selected $a as integer, right? So if I go ahead and do a $a get type, and I'll tell you why how I got the get type command, it'll go ahead and show me that this is int32. So to go ahead and see what are the methods which are incorporated in one object, we'll have to go ahead and pipe the object to GM or get member. And there you go, we have got all the members that are incorporated in this object, and this is dynamic. Like, for a string, this will vary. If $a was James, then this would have varied. See, we've got a lot more, and these do specific functions. For example, like, here we've got length. So James is like JAMES 5, right? So if I do a $a dot length, it'll give me 5. There you go, 5. Right. So get-member is one of the quintessential commands that would help you. The second command that will save your life is get-help. So just in case if you're wondering what this command does, like any command does, for example, let's say write host. So for a newbie, write host might be uh, like an alien. So if I do a write host, it says nothing. But if I do a get-help and do a write host -details, there are a lot of switches: details, verbose, -verbose. It'll go ahead and give me a very detailed syntax, parameter, aliases, remarks that this particular command has, and this will save your life. Trust me guys, it has helped me a lot when I started off, like, with PowerShell version 1. That's like way back. At that point of time I was like with Microsoft. Anyways, so yeah, get-help, the alias of get-help is help. So if you do a get-help, you'll see that the alias is, it's actually help. It says none, but it is help. I know that for a fact, because if you do a help and then get hyphen, let's say, what was the command that I used previously? Get hyphen host, right? Right hyphen host, yeah. So right hyphen host hyphen detailed hyphen verbose. I will get the same results. There you go. So PowerShell might, and there is more, like you'll have to hit enter or the space to go and complete it, and you would be getting the entire detailed results of right hyphen host and what it does. So even though get hyphen help says that there are no aliases, help is an alias for that. And this is like the syntax for going ahead and using help, and this would save your life. So get hyphen member and get hyphen help, memorize this, like burn this in your brain, like, brand it in your brain if you have to. This will save your life. All right, moving on. uh Now the next thing that I'm going to go and cover real quick is like the snapin and the modules. Now what are snapins? Snapins are basically .NET DLLs. Now these DLLs go ahead and load up commandlets. Now we the thing that we executed, like get hyphen host or get hyphen command or get hyphen active directory or get hyphen active directory objects or whatever it might be, these are commandlets, and these commandlets are loaded up from somewhere, right? And they are loaded up either from a snapin or from a module. So I'm going to go and discuss the snapin first, and then I'm going to go and discuss modules. So in order to do that, I'll do a get hyphen ps snapin. Now there are switches, like you can run it with a switch or without a switch. Like hyphen registered is one switch that'll go and show me the registered switches that I have for PowerShell V version 5. Unfortunately, I do not have any snapping for PowerShell version 5, but the one that I have is like the core one, microsoft.powershell.core. So there you go. This is like the snap-in that I've got. So if you want to go ahead and add a snap-in, what you have to do is hyphen get hyphen snap-in name hyphen name. There's a switch there. Pipe add hyphen ps snap-in. And as you can see, like, it tried to go ahead and add the registered ones, and as I don't have any, it went ahead and failed. So if I go ahead and do a get hyphen registered, this will go ahead and be successful. There you go, it's successful because the snap-in is added already. Now you might be asking me, how do I know which command belongs to a snap-in? Very good question. Very good question, because that is something that you have to understand. Even though that would be taken care of by the PowerShell engine in the background, but when you are doing scripting, you'll have to go ahead and understand which snap-ins to add, which modules to import during runtime when you're writing the script, or when you're executing the script, just in case if there is a condition statement and you require a particular module, you might have to go ahead and import that module or add that particular snap-in on the fly. So it's best to know which commandlet belongs to which snap-in. So how do I go and figure that out? Well, that's pretty easy actually. So if I do a get hyphen command, and I'll do let's say out hyphen host pipe select snap-in, and I used a wildcard here, and I see that this belongs to this particular snap-in. So to find out all the commands that belong to this snap-in, what I have to do is get hyphen command select query $_dot $_dot represents the current object that's being piped. Pipelining is something that is very important in PowerShell. I am passing the command of get-command to the next level, and $_dot is the current object that is being selected. So this is my core thing. Yeah, so PS Snapin. I'll just go and copy this. Hyphen equal this. End quote and enter. And I think I made a small boo boo here. Let me see. Get hyphen command. Query. Yeah, the mistake that I did was I went ahead and did a query instead of select. Yeah. It returns some null values. Okay, sorry. Let's clear that out. I think I understand what get hyphen command select. Alright, hold on. Query underscore dollar underscore dot PS snapin hyphen like core. Let's see what that returns. There you go. Yeah, there you go. So it went ahead and returned all the commands that are in this particular source, and I did a blind search here because I did not know that. Well, I knew it, but I did not go and specify it with source here. I just went ahead and did a PS snapin hyphen like, and then I used the keyword core with wildcard, and I went and did a where query. So I'm querying the command like the entire library. Similarly, you can go and do that for modules as well. So these are all the commands that would be loaded up from this snappin. This is something that would come in handy when you are writing scripts. Alright, moving on to modules. So there are two types of module imports, implicit and explicit. Implicit module exports are exports where you go ahead and export the modules which are already present in your system, or which has been added in the module folder, like the PowerShell / module folder. So to do that, get hyphen module hyphen list available will go and show you the modules that are available on your system. And there you go, it's going ahead and showing me the modules that are present in my system. And if I just do a get hyphen module, I will be getting all the modules. If I do a clear here, get hyphen module hyphen Well, I don't have a PS session. I've not created a PS session yet, so I can't use a PS session. But let me see what I can go and use. All will go ahead and show you all the modules that are listed. Uh, but the output that you saw there in list hyphen modules, I'm sorry, get hyphen modules hyphen list available, you saw that there were two segments. Like the first three segments, it went ahead and showed the modules that are loaded up, and the second segment showed you the modules that are present but that are not loaded up on the system. Like if I open up a new PowerShell window. Right, so if I open up a new PowerShell window here, and if I do a get hyphen module, I'll see that only three modules are loaded up here. But what I can do is, like, I can do a get hyphen module hyphen list available by import hyphen module, and this would go and take some time. It might throw an error message because some modules require ISE, like the integrated scripting environment, and it'll throw a warning because I have not used the verbose switch. I ideally should have used the verbose switch, like so hyphen verbose. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. The version switch. Oops. System.version, try again. Alright, like I'll not go and use that. I'll just go and use this. As you see, like, it's throwing a warning message saying that the BitLocker could not be like, it imported some of the some of the commandlets from BitLocker, included unapproved verb that might make them less discoverable. To find the commands with appropriate verb, import type module with the verbose parameter, but for some reason the verbose parameter was not working. I'm not sure why. Like, the verbose parameter was not coming up. That does happen, and it will go ahead and throw another small error that yeah, there you go. Console host requires the ISE, the scripting environment, but I'm not running the scripting environment right now. That's why it's throwing that particular error, but 90% of the modules would get loaded up. And there we go, it has gone ahead and loaded up all the modules. So if I do a get hyphen module right now, I would be getting all the modules that have been loaded up. Right, so I'll just exit out of this PowerShell, and I'll go back to my admin PowerShell here. So if I go ahead and let's talk about data types now. The first thing that comes into mind is arrays, right? So how do I go and create arrays in PowerShell? Well, there are a few methods to do that. So the first method would be $a equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that would go and create an array. If I do a $a here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, $a dot get type, it will show up as system.array. There you go. Now, second method would be to go ahead and use $a or $b, let's say, 1, 1, sorry, 1 dot 9. So it will create an array of 1 through 9. So if I go and do a print 1 through 9, similarly I can do an array of characters. I'll have to go ahead and this $e. No, sorry. Okay, so let me just do a $C because it has been typecast to integer type and it's not allowing me to do that. Okay, so it's not, for some reason it's not going and taking the integer, like the character format. So what I can do here is, like, I can go ahead and do A, B, C, and let me just scroll up, $C, ABC, $C dot get type, and it's a system array. Now if I want to go ahead and print this, then I can go ahead and print this using a loop. I would be covering loops in great depth in my next tutorial. I will just scrape the top in this particular tutorial, and my favorite loop is like the for each loop. So if I do for each, and there are reasons why that's my favorite, because it does not require you to specify any kind of incrementation, like manual incrementation or anything as such. You just have to go ahead and specify the variable that you want to loop. That's it, and the for each will take care of it by itself. So for each $x in $C, write host $C sleep 1. So what will happen is, like, it will go ahead and sleep for 1 second and write ABC. Sorry, I think I went ahead and yeah, 2, 3. There you go. Now I'll have to go ahead and specify the arrays integer type. So if I do a 0 here, it will go ahead and print the first one, A, A, A. If I do 1 here, it will go ahead and print the second one, B, B, B. But this is like only for string or other string arrays. For character arrays, for example, this one, where was it? Yeah, no, it was, I think it was A, right? I keep on forgetting. Yeah, B, right? Okay, so if I go ahead and do for each right now in B, I don't have to specify anything. I just have to go and specify X here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It'll go on after 1 second. After every 1 second, it'll go and print. And I think the mistake that I did was I did a $C. I should have done a $X, and that would have gone ahead and printed the results. B, C. There you go. I did a small typo in a hurry. So my initial initial array was this, $C equals this, a character array. And what I did was, like, instead of doing $x, I did a $C. I tried to print a $C, and that's why it was not printing properly. I have to do a $x because $x is picking up every value with every iteration, and it's piping it to the next commandlet or the next data segment. So in this particular scenario, it's going ahead and piping that to right host, and it's going ahead and writing that on the console A, B, C after 1 second. So if I go and remove this sleep function and do this, it's ABC immediately. Alright, cool, done. Now let's have a look at hash tables. Now a hash table is something that is a bit more complicated than an array, but it is very important because it will help you to do dynamic monitoring. So if I go ahead and do a hash table, let's say dollar hash, and this is like from my previous test, I'll go ahead and do that equals null. Oops, dollar null, sorry. So if I do a dollar hash, yeah, there's nothing here. So if I do a dollar hash equals blank, dollar hash, once again we can use the pipe gm to see the methods, and there will be an add method here, add. So let's do something. Dollar admin equals James. Dollar proc equals get hyphen process. And I will use PowerShell. Now I can go ahead and add this to the hash table using $hash dot add, and I'll have to go ahead and use the key and the literal. So that would be James $admin. And proc $proc. So if I do a $hash now, I should get this. So once again, let's have a look at the members. Hash pipe gm. Let's see, $hash. And I see that I've got keys here, I've got values here. So I can go and print the values. Let's say dot values, and that goes ahead and gives me the value here of PowerShell. Now why I'm saying that this is dynamic, because this would go ahead and monitor a process in real time, or any object in real time. So if I do a while $1 hash, let me just go ahead and oops, sorry. My bad, my bad. $hash dot values. It has to be values. So while one, there you go. I should include a sleep function so that you can go ahead and see this properly. See, if you see carefully, the values would be changing. There would be some values that would be changing. So like for example, if I cancel this for a second, I did not cancel. Yeah, now it cancelled. So 160, it was initially 160, it was 189, it was 192 now. You can do selective filtering as well. So to do that, you'll have to do values dot. Now we have got what, like CPU, WS, PM, NPM. Let's select CPU. So that'll go and give me the value of the CPU after every 5 seconds. And this is like the process ID. There's probably 4 processes or 5 processes of PowerShell running in the background. So it's going ahead and giving the process ID. I can go ahead and find the process ID as well. Like I think, yeah, there you go, the ID. So if I go ahead and do a clear, it's still printing. Yeah, so if I go ahead and do a dot value dot CPU and dollar hash dot value dot IT sleep, I am getting the ID here, like 500 is the ID. I can format this in like a table, like I can do an FT here, I guess, to make it a bit more clean. Let's do something. Dollar hash dot values dot ID by FT sleep 1. Let's see if this works or not. There you go. It's going ahead and giving me a table. I can do a FL as well, like list, filter list, and it'll go ahead and give me the values of CPU and the ID, the process ID. If I go ahead and remove all these filters, you would get a proper understanding of what I'm talking about. So if I just do values, there you go, you are getting everything. If I go ahead and do FT There you go. Interesting, isn't it? You can go ahead and import this to a CSV file for your boss if your boss needs it. This is like real-time monitoring. If I cancel the execution right now, cancel, you'll see that and now the CPU is fluctuating at times, it's going up and going down at times. So these are the ways in which you can go ahead and use a hash table to dynamically monitor a process if you think that that process needs a bit of monitoring, if it's working up a bit, like if it's working a bit weird, uh, then you can go and do that. Like you can use hash tables for anything that's dynamic. That is the biggest advantage of hash tables. Well, having said that, I would end this particular episode with this. I would be covering more of loops and data types in my next episode, so go ahead and stay tuned for that. I hope that this particular tutorial was helpful for you guys. Do subscribe to my channel and hit the bell notification icon to stay updated on my latest uploads. And once again, thank you for watching. Do have a good day, evening, or night wherever you are. God bless you now. Bye bye. Take care.